Okay, the next tool we're going to look at is the coping saw. Now the coping saw has a detachable blade here and the handle down the bottom. When you look carefully at your blade, the actual teeth of the blade should be going in a downwards direction, kind of like a Christmas tree, rather than going upwards. If your blade is not like that, you need to make sure that you turn the blade around, otherwise it won't cut the acrylic properly. To be able to cut your clock accurately, you need to put your piece of acrylic into the vise. Now we don't put it high up because this will cause the piece of acrylic to rattle around. We need to put it quite low in the vise to one side and then tighten it up with the handle. To start off using the coping saw, you do need to have one foot in front of the other for balance, and you need to drag the coping saw blade 2 or 3 times into the piece of work first. I'm putting my finger or my thumb up against the side of the coping saw blade, not underneath where it is sharp, but at the side to help keep it steady. And I'm going to drag the blade back 2 or 3 times to create a groove. I've now created a groove in the piece of acrylic to allow my blade to sit into it comfortably without it moving around so much. With the coping saw, it enables you to not only cut straight lines, but curve lines as well, which is why it's great for this project and for cutting things like circles. To be able to use it, you need to use one hand only, or if you really need to keep it steady, you can have your other hand on the handle. Please do not put your hand at the top or at the side here, it is not needed. So I'm going to show you how to cut this part of the piece of acrylic, and then I'm going to come out to cut this part in sections. You don't need to use the whole, use the coping saw to cut the whole circle out in one go. You will see that I'm cutting straight. This is because the blade is in line with the frame at the top. So if this frame is up vertically, I know that my blade is going to be vertically going down, also cutting a straight line. If I want to be able to cut this curved line here, my blade needs to be going in this direction, therefore my frame needs to be over here. I'm not going to move it suddenly, I'm going to move it slowly and gradually so that the blade does not snap. Like so. I'm going to keep sawing now to continue the rest of the circle. See how I was using the whole length of the blade when cutting, not just like so. This enables the cut to be a lot faster and a lot smoother, and you don't have to keep stopping and starting all the time. The cut is very, very gradual and doesn't have any grooves or sticking out parts. Also, please be careful not to touch the blade when you've just used it. This is because it will become hot because of the friction of the cutting that you've just taken place. To cut out here, what we're going to do is need to take the blade out and then cut from the side. So how to remove your blade from the work is as following. Keep the cutting motion going, but at the same time you're going to kind of reverse the blade. Like so. Now I'm going to cut from the other side. Which will then remove this part. I'm going to keep doing that all the way round until I get my perfect circle. And you keep going all the way around until the circle is then complete, and then you can smooth the edges off on the belt sander.